What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some awesome information to share with you guys in this video regarding SPCE stock, the Pfizer vaccine, and also some news with the Federal Reserve for this week. There's a lot of plays setting up in the market right now. We had a lot of interesting movement in the market on Friday, like Disney stock exploding, and a couple other stocks going crazy. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of this video. At the end of the video, we have a $7.2 million options trade that we are eyeing for the rest of this week. And if you guys aren't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Tom and I post brand new videos every single day. But with that being said, Tom, let's get right into today's video.
Yeah, there's actually some pretty big news right now about SPCE, and you can see that on Friday they had a pretty good day to start it off, and then they pretty much came down to end the day. But what happened is that they actually had to cut a test flight short due to an engine problem, and Virgin Galactic said on Twitter, "Early update on flight. The ignition sequence for the rocket motor did not complete. Vehicle and crew are in great shape. We have several motors ready at Spaceport America. We will check the vehicle and be back to flight soon." And I just want to say that this is a risk that I did talk about the other day. You know, I said that they could blow up or something weird could happen on this test flight, and it definitely did. So I'm actually going to be looking for SPCE to actually be going down on Monday, and I think that this will actually hurt the stock pretty significantly in the short term. And if we go back to the daily chart, you can see the last time they ran up here, they had like a thing where they showed off the interior of their spacecraft, and people actually did not like that, and it actually sent the stock down. So I could really see a pullback possibly on SPCE happening here. And I know a lot of people were starting to get into it with the hype and stuff, so I'd be really careful right now about pretty much cutting losses. You know, I would recommend it, at least in the short term. And this is why, you know, in the Discord I sold my calls on Friday, was because I definitely did not want to hold over the weekend with that test flight going on, just because it had this type of level of uncertainty, and that's just terrible to hear, you know, that they had to cut it short because of a motor problem.
Gotcha. So we were really seeing SPCE kind of skyrocket the past couple weeks, and a lot of that has to do with the anticipation for this test flight, right?
Yeah, and it had a really big run up in anticipation of the flight, but it looks like it's going to be heading down now after the flight with this news.
Not good. What other news happened over the weekend?
Yeah, the Pfizer vaccine was approved by the FDA and is now rolling out, and CNBC reports that trucks departed the Pfizer plant in Portage, Michigan on Sunday morning with the first batches of the company's long-awaited vaccine, and it's en route to 636 predetermined locations, and they're expected to deliver an estimated 2.9 million doses this week via UPS and FedEx. And that's what the chief operating officer of Operation Warp Speed said. So that's an awesome thing to hear for Pfizer, and I think that it might actually send their stock up this week. But, you know, just looking at the chart's not looking too good the past couple of days. You know, we have these two big red days on Friday and on Wednesday. So, you know, it's not looking good with those two red days, but hopefully this news can help it pop back up.
True. I mean, I was actually looking at UPS and FDX. They're looking to be setting up pretty good, at least UPS. What do you think about those two?
Yeah, UPS actually looks like they have a little like a little U shape here, a little cup and handles, people like to say, or you could even say like it has a little head and shoulders starting to form. I kind of like UPS, especially on the daily chart. You can really see it starting to run up, and it's holding those high levels, and you know they're very needed right now, especially with the vaccine. So it seems like that UPS can just do no wrong, and I could definitely see them retesting highs.
Yeah, I mean, but either way, you have to wait for a breakout. You know, you can't just go right in. Of course, wait for breakouts, wait for confirmations if you decide to trade that. But Tom, what's going on with the Feds this week?
The Federal Reserve is going to meet on Tuesday and Wednesday amid worries over the impact of the rise of the coronavirus cases will have on the economy. And the markets will be watching for the Fed's movement on bond purchases. And 2 p.m. on Wednesday Eastern Time, the Federal Reserve is going to have an announcement. And at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, Jerome Powell is going to have his press conference. So I think that's what a lot of people are going to look for, is going to be that press conference. And one thing that I want to say is that, you know, if we look at a daily chart of the markets right now, you know, the markets have been going up, and it looks like we have 3 pretty bad red days in a row. So I'm wondering if this is going to be the start of a small pullback, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on because the electoral college also votes on December 14th. So that's going to be a big confirmation day for the presidential election, one way or the other. So that's going to be a pretty big telltale sign right there of like what's going to happen with the political spectrum over the next, couple months. But other than that, I think that that's going to be a pretty big day whenever Jerome Powell has his speech at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday.
For those people who've been trading for a while, you know how Jerome Powell affects the markets. Sometimes he says stuff and the markets have no reaction, and sometimes he says something and the markets just go crazy. So either way, it's always worth watching the press conferences because they can make a huge impact on the markets. Sometimes the markets make just huge moves from these press conferences. So Tom said it is on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely be on the lookout for that this week. But let's get right into today's Discord member of the day. Today's member of the day is Reboss, and he said it ain't much compared to huge accounts we have in this chat, but it's been 4 weeks since I changed my approach to go less aggressive and play mostly the weekly straddles that Mike posts in the Facebook group. He hasn't had a negative week since, and he said prayers up, it stays that way. Slow and steady gains are the key to long-term success. So great job. He is up about 57% in the past month. So great job. Make sure to stay disciplined. Don't get too greedy. I know a lot of people, once they grow their account, they want to, they get too aggressive and they start going like all in on each trade, or they put like 80% of their account on each trade. Make sure to not over leverage. And keep in mind that losses will happen. You're on a roll 4 weeks in a row, but losses will happen, so just be prepared for that mentally too. But besides that, great job and keep it up. But now let's get right into today's momentum plays. And the first one is Microsoft to the upside.
Yeah, with Microsoft, they're actually sitting right at this 1,000 SMA on the 5-minute chart, and I really like that. Go ahead and make them pop above 213.50, and if they break out above that level, I would actually really like Microsoft, and that's actually what I'm going to be watching probably Monday morning.
Awesome. With the next play, we have DBX to the downside. No, actually, I take that back, to the upside.
Yeah, Dropbox. Wow, yeah, to the downside. 22 to 25. What a run up in after hours on Friday. Go ahead and make them break above 25.57. I can't believe they ran up this much.
Yep. And then CCL, which is to the downside.
Carnival Cruise Line, make them fall below 21.28.
All right. And then we have Disney to the upside.
Yeah, Disney. They've been having a good past few days here. Make them break above 179.50.
All right, so only if the stocks break above the levels Tom listed, we are eyeing them to the upside. If CCL breaks below the level Tom listed, we are eyeing it to the downside, and these are all for potential quick day trades only if they break above the levels. Disney had an amazing day, but we would only like it if it breaks above that previous resistance that Tom listed on Friday, which is actually its all-time highs. But let's get right into the $7.2 million options for this week. We are looking at Disney again, the Disney 185 calls that expire this Friday, December 18th. Disney is skyrocketing. It broke all-time highs on Friday. Tom and I made a video on Friday on why it's doing that. They have a ton of momentum. When they released very good Disney Plus numbers in the past, they ran for a couple days. They are exploding right now, though. It would be the smartest if they were shorting these call options as covered calls or something like that. I think Disney has a ton of potential to the upside, but to short or to buy options that are $10 out of the money and they expire this week, I think that's a little risky, especially Disney is up about 14%. I would think, or at least hope, that they're shorting these options like in like a covered call or something like that.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, there's going to be a lot of implied volatility as well on Disney. So you can definitely look for those options. Like if Disney goes flat or down, they would definitely lose a ton of value. So, it's one of those risky plays where you're trying to play a run up. And it's almost similar to like whenever NIO and stuff was popping, just because Disney, they popped so much, 13%, that was such an unexpected move that it actually made the implied volatility go kind of crazy.
Right, exactly. And when stocks have huge run ups, like you listed, and their IV pops and their options get so expensive, like Disney's options are right now, or like NIO's options have been for the past couple weeks, right when that tide turns, the options just get crushed. So, for example, Disney's up about 14% on Friday. The call options are up 700%, 800%, 650%. When Disney falls, those things are going to get crushed. So you just have to be on the lookout for that, and it's definitely a risk. But let's get right into our questions from the previous episode. And we have Jimmy saying, hey guys, good job. I'm surprised you didn't talk about BABA. So what are you thinking about BABA, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I actually do like Baba in the short term. It looks like they might start popping. They've had 2 green days. I don't know what to think about them right now. I'm going to be looking for a confirmation on them this week, I think. You can see that they're kind of in between two support and resistances that I have listed. So I think if they break above the one around 267.50, then I think they might be pretty good for calls. And if they break below the one around 259.50, then I think they're going to be pretty good for puts. So I think it's going to be a confirmation week for them. You can see that they have been pretty flat with a slight trend to the downside this week. So I don't think it would have been the best thing to trade last week.
With the next question, we have Brian A saying, great episode, guys. What are your thoughts on JD? So I'm not sure if he's asking about this for the short term or the long term, but Tom, I like what you have pulled up on your chart right there. For the short term, it's actually bouncing off two supports, and one of those supports is ascending upwards. So what do you think?
Yeah, I really like it. I really like that upwards trend line. That's my main indicator on this. And yeah, I really like how it almost has also pulled back right here over the past few days, back down to this support. And then also it's hitting that trend. So it looks like a pretty awesome setup. And if we go to like a 5-day, 15-minute chart, you can see how much they actually popped on Friday at open and then pulled back down. And then at the end of the day, they actually were green again. So I'm just going to be watching for them to possibly just have more green at open and then ride the momentum back up, possibly up to like 84.50 again, which was the high on Friday.
With the next question, we have Empire asking about Moderna and Airbnb. So if we take a look at mRNA, they are skyrocketing. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, they're skyrocketing, and they're also going to be approved for their vaccine might get approved soon. So that'll be very good news for them. If that happens, I could definitely see them continue popping. And it looks like they're setting up pretty nicely. And let me go ahead and draw another trend line. It looks like they have another pretty good trend line that they're bouncing off of. So I kind of like this setup here.
True. Can you go back to a daily real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
So we can see how they are just exploding, right? Now, I think this is a good lesson for a lot of people. Just when their news comes out, if their vaccine does get approved, keep in mind that their stock price can fall because investors are buying into the stock in anticipation of their vaccine getting approved. So just keep in mind, like, just if their vaccine does get approved, there's still a chance that Moderna can fall. So please keep that in mind. And then he was also asking about Airbnb, so ABNB, which actually IPO'd last week, and they didn't have the best day on Friday, but overall I would say they had a pretty good week from their initial IPO price. I mean, they're doing pretty good overall, but for the short term with these IPOs, they're just so volatile, and they don't really have any like supports or resistances defined yet. I mean, there's a couple if you want to point them out, Tom, but IPOs are just pretty hard to trade.
Yeah, they're hard to trade, and I just want to say something. Like it was really bad the way that they do the pricing on these IPOs nowadays is really bad. Like these stocks are running up like 150%, 100% sometimes before the public can even trade them. Like that's kind of uncalled for, to be honest. Like I think if we want to be honest, like with the market, that sounds pretty bad, and it really hurts people because you can see Airbnb only ran up for about 5 minutes on their IPO date, and then actually just pretty much ran down all week, and that was pretty crazy to see. And a lot, and the main thing is that with a lot of traders, they're sitting here saying, wow, Airbnb's down, but the thing is that they're actually up like 100%, but you guys couldn't even trade it because it wasn't public at the time.
Right. So they were initially set to IPO. What was it, like $45 to $50? It was something like that.
And then it rose to like 60 to 5 to 70, and then when the morning it IPO'd, it like they were like, wow, it's already up to like 150 before we could even buy it.
Right. Yeah. So It's a interesting situation to say the least. But what do you think of a potential trade, or like, what are your thoughts on Airbnb? I know there's not really any support right now, and I know IPOs are just crazy. But what do you have for Empire?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I would try to trade it maybe to the downside over the next couple days. It looks like it just keeps falling below like any type of support that it's, reporting on the chart. Obviously, it's only been trading for a couple days, so you can only go off of these couple supports that you can see here around like $140. So I think 140 could be a pretty good level. If it breaks above that, you might be able to look at calls this week, and if it breaks below that, you might want to start looking at puts again. And it looks like it's below that right now, and it's just not looking too good, at least on this intraday chart. And obviously, on the daily chart, like if we could see it all the way down there, it wouldn't look near as bad. But we can't see it all the way down at $70.
Yeah, so it's really hard to trade IPOs, but good stuff. With the next question, we have Arnold saying, "Hey guys, love the channel. Can you check out SFT for the long term?" So let's take a look. Tom, can you pull up a daily real quick?
Yep, 5-year daily. Wow, yeah, this is a crazy looking chart.
Yeah, so personally, I would never invest in a stock that looks like this. But if you believe in the company, if you believe in the management and everything like that, by all means, go for it. But personally, I would never invest in something like this.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a company, and you can see how low they've really gotten, $6.40. Possibly they might be doing like a head and shoulders setup here around 833. So maybe watch for that on some technical levels, but I would really not recommend trading this.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. And if you guys want to trade the same options as Tom and I every single day, plus access to the machine learning day trading bot and the options order flow bot, you can click the StockedUp options alerts link in the description down below. And if you have any questions, like I said, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.